Hello, I'm Charles Palmer, Senior Technical Advisor for the Institute for Information and Infrastructure Protection. Welcome to the first of a series of video podcasts and audio podcasts produced by the I3P. We'll be talking this week and in the future with some of our colleagues across the consortium as well as members of the staff about topics related to the security of our infrastructure. Today, we're talking with Dr. Shari Lawrence Pfleeger, who is the Research Director here at the I3P. Welcome, Shari.
Thank you for having me.
So, I guess when people ask me, what's this I3P thing? Once I spell it out for them, the Institute for Information Infrastructure Protection, they immediately follow up with, what is that? And why is it still around after, now it's almost 10 years?
So the I3P is an interesting animal. It's a consortium of, at present, 27 U.S. universities, national laboratories, and nonprofits that do research not only in cybersecurity, but also in related areas like dependability, safety, and reliability. And the goal is to use the power of multidisciplinary research with shared intellectual property to help address the most critical questions about protecting our national infrastructure. And so what the I3P does is try to make problems visible, try to find the right people at our member institutions to address the problems, often in ways that people haven't thought about addressing them before, and to provide the results and the insights to policymakers and to the providers of the information infrastructure.
That does sound different than most of the other centers and funded organizations that I've heard of in the past. So you say these 27 different institutions, they're not all academics, and they're not all computer scientists.
That's right, and so that helps to inform the kind of research that we do. So we get realistic results by trying out some of our solutions at national laboratories and at nonprofit corporations. We also often engage industry in trying out some of what we come up with. And we also bring, as you said, not just computer science to bear, but also social science, policy, law. We try to take advantage of the breadth of expertise at each of our institutions.
So it's not just one person at each institution that is the member. It's more than that, I guess.
That's right. Each institution is a member, not a particular department or representative.
Okay, so if Joe, professor of computer science at Columbia, is the primary person who comes to meetings and stuff, but we know that there's a deep researcher in human studies, human interfaces or whatever at Columbia, well, they would get to participate in a project perhaps.
That's right. And it's not just project participation, it's also at membership meetings and at workshops. So, for example, we just had a membership meeting at the University of Virginia, and we had UVA professors talk about a variety of things that have bearing on security, including evolutionary biology, genetic programming, philosophy. We have a new privacy project where many of our members are social scientists, legal experts, public policy experts, economists. So we try to bring people into the room to talk about a problem who look at problems from a variety of perspectives, and often we get a synergy that you wouldn't otherwise have if you stayed in a narrow discipline.
And I guess the problems we face nowadays, unlike building a bridge or any kind of particular technological endeavor of the past, this isn't just about one topic. So I guess it kind of matches this multidisciplinary thing.
That's right. And in fact, there's been a lot in the press lately that seems to reinforce the kind of perspective that we've taken over the last 9+ years. For example, David Brooks, the New York Times columnist, has been writing a series of columns based on his new book about how much scientists should listen to social science in formulating an understanding of problems and in proposing new solutions to problems. So this whole idea of broadening your perspective seems to be more popular now. So in the same way, we are looking on our privacy project, for example, not only at privacy rules and regulations, but also how people perceive notions of privacy and how that can inform the way we develop privacy policies, the way we develop interfaces for people to set their privacy settings, and so on. So we're definitely broadening the perspective of the way people in general think about various issues in security and privacy.
Now that must be a challenging new way to look at these problems for some people, and especially since the I3P is funded through grants from the government or agencies or whatever. How are they getting it? I mean, are they really understanding the value of this multidisciplinary approach?
Some are, although there are some institutional issues that we have to deal with, but we have some very enthusiastic government sponsors who think we're doing exactly the right thing. The institutional challenges involve the traditional ways that we reward people for what they do on the job. So, for example, if a computer scientist writes a paper that's in something other than a computer science publication, that's hard for the tenure committee to deal with. So we're trying to figure out not only the solutions to the problems, but also the ways to continue to reward the researchers that are perhaps non-traditional for their departments. But even there, we talk to deans, we talk to provosts, we talk to vice presidents of nonprofits and national labs. And so they're, over the history of the I3P, they have eventually been enthusiastic about coming on board when they see what the impact is. So, for example, there are plenty of security problems that have solutions, but people aren't adopting them. And we're doing research, especially in our current human behavior project, to look at what are the right incentives for making sure people do the right thing and for discouraging them from doing the wrong thing. And that makes sense to people who have spent a lot of time with technology. They get that the incentives are important, because right now we do training, for example, in security. We all do this, the required slide set once a year, and then the training has very little effect after that. The people in technology are starting to understand that the social science that can inform our training also helps their technology get accepted and used more broadly.
And I guess it also helps them design it better in the first place.
Right.
Because we all experience frustrating security experiences every day. So I guess it makes a lot of sense, this multidisciplinary approach, realizing that it's not just about building a bridge, it's about working with people, working with computers, solving infrastructure protection problems. It really is this huge challenge, multidisciplinary challenge. Now, one thing I did want to get back to, though, part of that multidisciplinary team you talked about was you have the academics and the national labs. There's also nonprofits.
Right. So right now we have SRI, MITRE, and RAND, three nonprofits that have that do work in cybersecurity research. They all take multidisciplinary approaches, and they're very different from the national labs and the universities, but they have a lot to offer to our membership. They get to understand, many of them are federally funded research and development corporations, or parts of them are, and so they get to understand their customers particularly well. That's why they've been designated as FFRDCs. So they can come to us and explain a particular significant problem that their customer has to deal with. And that helps inform how we choose projects to work on, who we choose to work on those projects. And it also lets us go back to the people with those problems and apply some of our solutions to see if they really work. So apply some of our proposed solutions.
And I guess at the end of the day, one thing we do share with those centers and other organizations is we want our results, our technology results, to be used.
Right, and that's the ultimate measure of our success with the I3P. are we really making the information infrastructure stronger? Both in terms of preventing things from happening, but also in terms of recovering quickly and sufficiently when an attack happens. And by attack, I mean not just something that's malicious, but there are also inadvertent things that happen. Somebody presses the wrong button. Somebody misunderstands an instruction, or misunderstands the larger scale implications of a particular action. So there are things that happen when files go missing or networks go down, and it's not because somebody was being malicious. It's just that a variety of incidents came together to bring something down.
That's a very interesting approach. It's not just about the bad guys and bad country number two. It's insiders, it's accidental evildoers, it's all across the board. People frustrated with security and whatever.
Right.
Well, clearly the I3P has built a place for itself in the research and development area for cybersecurity. It's been around, well, it's soon going to be 10 years, and we're looking forward to spending a lot more time here and talking with Shari perhaps again in the future, perhaps one of our members from various institutions. I think we'll have a good time talking about whatever it is that's on their plate that is affecting the security of the information infrastructure.
So I welcome the viewers of this podcast to contact us if you have questions about the I3P, if you have suggestions for problems that you want us to address, if you want to find out more about our member institutions. Feel free to browse around the website, but also contact us by email or by telephone if you'd like more information.
Very good. So if you'd like to find us on the web, that's www.thei3p.org. Good day.